This boy and girl are going to be well equipped when the time comes to take their places as worthy members of adult society.
Aloha, y'all. This is Daniel Eisenman, the host of the Breaking Normal podcast, where my guests are all invited based on the frequency of synchronicity, all done in person, and all trailblazers in the breaking of all things normal.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Breaking Normal podcast in the Let's Do podcast studio. This is your first time in here, Trent, correct?
Yes, sir.
This is Trent Poulsen. He said he's an open book. I'm excited to open this book with you. You have listened to some of the Breaking Normal podcasts before. Have you read the book Breaking Normal by any chance?
I have not yet.
I wanted to bring you a copy. I have to order more, but do you listen to Audibles?
Yes, I do.
I'd recommend it. But maybe you can make your judgment after this hour here. You have a pretty hard cutoff because you're house sitting, which I'm definitely interested in. Are you using trusted house sitters?
I'm not. I should go through the platform Rover, establish some clientele this last year with that. Getting some families and friends out, and it's just a great kind of side source of income.
Okay, awesome. And because I want to get this podcast out right after we're done with it, because aren't you all about to set up the sauna today?
Yes, sir. For Ember and Ice, we just locked in a partnership with Foot of the Mountain Motel, and we're hosting there Thursday through Sunday. So I'll be there today, 3:30 to 9.
And that's like literally a stone's throw from where I live, which I think is one of the best places in the world. So congratulations. I'm excited to talk about Ember and Ice. You, Trent Poulsen. And because we might be short on time, I'm not going to do like an intro by myself. So my intro, this show is brought to you by not only Let's Do Podcast and Breaking Normal, but Tribe Vitamins. Have I gifted you tallow balm before?
I've had them in several community circles.
Do you like
your
it?
products?
All right, cool. Have you tried peaches and cream?
I have not.
Why don't you
yet.
take that to the sauna if you want to take a little smell? Or your face looks like it almost has tallow on it.
I do have tallow on my face. I came prepared.
How did I know? What tallow are you using?
I don't even know the brand's name, to be honest.
Is it like a beef tallow balm?
Just was gifted it by my partner, and yeah, to pump your initiative forward, it's really changed my skincare routine, from breaking away from any other lotions and really hydrating and having that cohesion within my skin.
Well, your skin looks really good. I mean, you're a good looking guy. Like, I'm excited to talk about how we met and such, but I will say that first of all, you just said your partner. You mean like your girlfriend or your?
Yes,
Because you have business partners as well.
Yeah,
You
that's
find
your
business.
specified.
Okay, what's your? Because I met your girlfriend playing pickleball. Marissa. I think she might like that. It seems like the ladies like the peaches and cream. What did you think of the smell?
It's pungent. Yeah, I thought
Pungent?
it was,
What do you mean pungent?
pungent meaning potent.
Okay, like the peach smell?
Yeah, I think it's super sweet, and if any male put this on their face, I can see them attracting anyone on Pearl Street.
Nice. All right, and this is the Beamer Creamer. That's a gift. That's what Dylan just got. You drink coffee?
Actually tried it the other day in a matcha.
Did you like
I
it?
don't always drink coffee, but yeah, I loved it. I thought it was a great thing to implement into your morning routine, out of the ordinary, products that might cause some irritation in your stomach.
Okay, because like once again, that could be really good not only for skin health but gut health. And I do want to talk about some of your health hacks because once again, you're a strapping man. And oh yeah, and I had a couple people tell me like Dylan. I think Dylan. How long have you known Dylan? Who's been on the podcast before? Dylan Suggs. He has a show called Matrix Breakers. I'm the most recent interview on his show, so check that out. But how long have y'all known each other?
5 years now.
Okay, all right. Who did you meet most recently out of your 5 business partners? Was it Ricardo?
Original catalyst in me getting connected with my 5 business partners and friends was Devin Suggs,
Okay.
and he kind of opened me up to meeting all 5 of the guys. And until our August trip to Seattle, where this business concept really came to light, is when I got to drop in further with Forrest Wilkinson and Landon Camp, who I just loved building a relationship with them.
And then how long have you known Ricardo?
Ricardo, say also that 5-year marks in
Shoot.
between.
I don't know who it was, but someone told me, yeah, like I've got to know Trent, and he's like the greatest guy I know. And I wish I could tell you which one it was, but and then just today, I messaged Alec Vishal Rubin and asked him if he wanted to carry the kettlebells to the sauna. and he was like, that's not gonna work today, but I'm gonna be working out with Trent tomorrow. I'm like, what the heck? Why did he even tell me that? Did you tell him that you're doing this interview today?
I did not.
Oh, I was like, that's so hilarious because that's who I'm interviewing today. So welcome to the Synchronicity of the Breaking Normal podcast. Now you work out, I'm assuming, because you're
Yes,
pretty
sir. I
jacked.
love being active.
Ever use this as a pre-workout?
I haven't done elk antler, but I have done the liver supplements.
Well, you want to try this one too?
I would love to.
There's your gift package.
Good
And there's
man.
the shout out to the sponsor of this podcast. All right, so we'll get started here. So, first of all, how did we meet? We're talking about that.
Yeah, so
You think at the coffee shop?
I'll paint the picture. I was sitting down at Alpine Modern Cafe, which is for people listening on University Hill, where CU is in Boulder. And I was working on my laptop at the time, working for a startup here in downtown. And Daniel came in, this light beacon with his beautiful daughter, and sat down next to me and commented on my setup, and immediately saw the connection of his podcast with our good friend Dylan and my business partners, Matrix Breakers.
I talked to you first.
Yes, you did.
What do you remember what I said? I'm curious.
You said I love your computer setup.
Okay, all right, awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a challenge to people that are listening. You want to make your life better. When you see someone doing life good, tell them what you think. Affirm them. And I saw you, and I do recall that. Where I really recall meeting you was playing pickleball with you at Third Shot in Longmont with your girlfriend. Do you remember that?
Yeah, you are a great pickleball player. So I wouldn't recommend anyone challenging Daniel to a pickleball
Forrest
match,
is
but
good.
yeah, you guys are great.
Yeah. All right, so Forrest, Dylan, two guys I've had on the podcast before. Those are two of these five business partners you're alluding to. And I got to, on Dylan's Matrix Breaker podcast the other day at the sauna, I got to find out a little bit about how this business was started. So you can maybe correct me and then take it off route. But Dylan was telling me that y'all were in Seattle together to celebrate his 30th birthday.
Yes, sir.
And y'all saw a sauna near a cold body of water called Bywater. And then someone asked, can we get in that sauna? And they said something like they're booked up all the way until Saturday, and that they're changing locations then. And then something clicked for, I don't know if it was all of y'all. And here we are, probably how many months ago was that? 4?
That was end of August, and we concepted the company in September.
All right, so wow. I mean, I'm so fascinated by that because I've started companies with my brothers, like the people that are closest to me, like Rob Roz and the retreat business that we were in. And I am such a believer in like a few of the things that are trending right now, business wise, like tallow. I think my dad called me this morning. He's like, "Did you just hear that like Shake and Steak announced they're only be cooking in tallow now?" And I thought he was signaling me. And by the way, look at what our podcast producer got us today. Look at these cool mugs. Let's do a podcast. Cheers. And it's such a big deal. Like I think some of the biggest deals in life, or the fastest ways to grow in life, are probably start a business around something you're passionate in. I'm not sure. I'm not saying one's better than the other, but starting a business about something you're passionate about with people you care about. Wow, that's a quantum leap for growth. Having children, committing to a partner in something such as marriage. I think those, and then puberty, and being born and dying. I mean, those seem to be like how to get the most juice out. So, can you tell us from that moment there in Seattle to how people, if they're listening to this podcast today, can go join y'all at the creek in like an hour in the Boulder sunshine, or like a wood burning hot sauna next to a polar plunge cold creek? How did we get here?
Yeah, I agree with those points. I think entrepreneurship, significant events in your life, like having a child or a life transition of moving out of your hometown or to a new country, can drastically change just your perception of life and increase your happiness. And that's what entrepreneurship has done for me. And through meeting my 5 buddies and business partners, it's been an incredible ride thus far from our trip in Seattle. And to take you back to that time, end of August, we were all walking along Alki Beach, and sun was setting. Colors were vibrant. We thought we saw a smoke truck from like a barbecue shop,
Oh, yeah.
and that was my first interpretation. And as we approached closer, we saw 16 people within this barbecue truck. And we realized there's a human barbecue. This man from by the water was hosting at public parks all across Seattle. And he had this thing booked out, 16 people every single hour. There were 16 men in the sauna at the time that were cold plunging in the ocean and getting back in. And we just saw them lit up with joy from this experience. And the six of us being very health conscious entrepreneurs in Colorado, we saw a huge opportunity on how this business model hasn't been executed across the Colorado landscape yet. And we see this throughout all of Northern Europe right now. It's deep in the traditions. My heritage goes back to Danish roots, Icelandic roots.
I just wrote down your origins because I was like, wait a minute, are you Scandinavian?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
all right.
Yeah. And so I very much feel that it's in my blood and that God has been guiding the path for us to bring this health conscious, community driven business to the greater Boulder area.
All right. I hear you. Boulder and also in the whole world, Boulder seems to be like one of the most obvious places that it would do the best. And there was a place that was not mobile. There was a portal thermoculture. And I made the joke with Dylan because it seemed like they had like a little mechanical fire, not from the sauna, is my understanding. And then y'all started like 2 days later, like y'all burned down the portal.
Yeah, we certainly got accusations there, and that team is doing
You didn't get serious accusations, did you?
nothing serious.
Yeah, okay,
It's just
alright.
people tossing it out, like
Okay, because that was the only one that made that. But the timing, like you're right, like if this is divinely orchestrated, it seems like the timing was just right. But how did you go from the idea to making it happen? Like, and I'm curious about like the six of y'all because this makes me think about like the six different archetypes in the business or like who's doing what. Can you tell us about how you made that idea into a reality?
Yeah, I think so many people have these inspiring, innovative ideas, and flipping the script and actually taking action on it is what can separate so many entrepreneurs from others of living a more mundane life. And we are very lucky to have so many strengths and skill sets throughout the six of us. I never imagined myself starting a company with 5 other people right off the bat.
Yeah,
I even had some mentors kind of warn me that sounds like a lot of people.
It's pretty
how are you
intense.
splitting up equity? That doesn't sound very lucrative for you. And as things have unfolded now, everyone has really found their groove in the business. We have Landon Camp leading our building along with Forrest. They have been pillars for us in bringing these saunas mounted on the trailers and building the structure and the heart of our business. And Ricardo, who we mentioned earlier, is our lead event coordinator, and his attention to detail about the user experience and facilitating and being the what they call in sauna culture the sauna master is something we've found that he is better at than anyone on our team. And then to go on, Devin Suggs is a powerhouse. He's a manifesting generator. If you know that
I know a little
type
bit
of
about
dialect.
that. Yeah, I've interviewed from some people about the human design thing, right?
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Do you know yours?
I'm a manifesting generator as well.
Or who's not? Like who's not in the group?
I believe Forrest and Landon, which it fits, some of their skill set and strengths as leading some of our building.
Oh, do you know what theirs are by any chance? I'm not an
Of
expert
course,
in
is
this.
a projector, but I don't know for certain.
Okay, cool. All right, so we got Devin manifesting generator. Yeah, when I went to the sauna the other day, which was awesome. I went into the creek, which is partly frozen, so you have to kind of like walk on the ice to slip into there. And Devin was just out there with the sign, like sending people up to the sauna. Like he was creating a nice buzz. Good on you, Devin.
He's a powerhouse, and I like to use the analogy that he's a rabbit on our team. He really sets the pace, and to paint that picture for listeners, during a horse race, the horses chase a rabbit down the track, and the rest of the team are the horses, and whatever pace that rabbit sets is the pace that we're going to go as a team. So Devin is really the strength of our team that's really pushing us forward with that empowering energy to really drive this business into fruition.
That's a nice. That's a nice picture you painted there. I like it. Okay, so who's left? You and Dylan.
Dylan, yeah, Dylan is our financial guy. He's very logical, analytical. If you listen to him and Daniel on this podcast or Matrix Breakers, he brings a plethora of skills that have translated into solidifying a lot of partnerships for us and contracts, negotiations. And he's a visionary in his ability to look at the business and how we can scale this and really drive our mission to help more people with their health.
And for the man of the hour.
Yeah, my skill set, I come from a tech background of 5 years. I developed our website, our social media marketing, as well as our white label technology, GlowFox, which will have a app launching soon on the App Store that you can book our sauna here in Boulder.
GlowFox?
GlowFox is the name of it.
That'll be y'all's
It's
app.
from the UK.
Or white labeling.
Yeah,
this.
they're the white label
Interesting.
technology.
Is that what
It's our
Portal was
bookings.
using?
Yeah, so By the Water and Portal use that.
Wow.
And after doing some research, it seems like the best software to really model this new type of business off.
And how much is a software like that?
Yeah, so we were able to get in $350 a month.
Okay. Maybe they can you can send them this segment and see if they just want to sponsor your podcast or this podcast and get it for free.
Absolutely, I think they would be smart.
All right, so this is awesome. All right, got a little structure of the business here. So you said that one sauna had 16 people in it every hour, every day they were open. How many hours were they open, and what is the rough charging per hour? And is that are you all following that same model?
Yeah, I have to do some math on the fly. 16 people in the sauna, 40
About $40 a week.
$40 per seat. So
$40 per seat. Those people are paying $40 per seat in Seattle.
640. So 640 an hour. I don't know if he does discounts for bigger
Let's
parties.
just say 500 an hour.
Yeah,
Let's just say
keep the
500 an
math
hour. Because some
simple.
people are going to get discounts or
So
something
if
like that.
he's open 4 or 5 hours,
And one
a
sauna
day,
has 16 people in it?
correct.
Okay.
He has 2 furnaces in that sauna. It's made by Nomad Sauna out of Minnesota.
So they have sponsorship opportunities.
Top of the art saunas.
Those things partnering with Nomad or something.
Nomad makes an incredible product, and they've certainly inspired us.
Okay. All right. So 500 hours an hour. For how many hours a day were those people staying up?
So 4 to 5 hours, based on the hourly booking
Okay.
I saw.
So
And
2,500 hours a day.
that's one man running it with his camera and pulling up a trailer to the beach.
And is he paying the beach for that location, do you think?
I don't have clarity
All right, so
on
now
his
let's talk about
negotiation
it.
with the city.
Let's shift this to y'all. All right. So how are y'all going to make? How's this going to make money for y'all? And like it's kind of a funny thing. I'm kind of putting you on the spot here. If you don't want to talk about the back end of the business, that's understandable. But I feel like I can talk to about 1,000 things with you, and it seems like this is what's exciting me right now. Not and I don't know how you feel about this. Like, do you want other people to adopt this idea, or are y'all trying to like take over the market? That's kind of a thing.
My
to think
philosophy is competition is a blessing, And the more people at the end of the day that is driving a health focused business into our country, into the world, is serving that purpose and mission for our team. So gladly welcome anyone getting into the business.
Yeah, because the way I see it, I've heard about these things popping up, especially like in Rhode Island coastlines, and I've been to Iceland, Denmark, Sweden, and Norway, and I know I'm like, it's almost as I saw much more floating saunas there than I did McDonald's. And I'm like, let's just, why not? Like, I want to make tallow and floating saunas, saunas by the creek, mobile saunas, especially the wood burning ones like y'all have. I want to make these as popular as possible. And I do believe that, like, what is it, like the tide rises all ships, or whatever that cool saying is. So, yeah, if you don't mind, like, how is this going to be profitable?
Yeah, so the way we're viewing it is there's four pillars of our business. There is the more stationary sauna, similar to Portal as we saw in Boulder, where people can get memberships or buy single sessions to come to that facility. There is the pop-up and partnerships pillar of the business, where we are partnering and marketing with businesses around the community to bring that amenity to businesses. There is the private bookings for these saunas, bringing them to nature destinations, bringing them to corporate retreats or yoga retreats, whatever it might
Bachelor
be.
parties, weddings.
You got it.
Yeah.
And so the fourth one is popping these up at events and festivals. It's an added amenity to a lot of these businesses that don't have access within their brick and mortar stores.
And then theoretically, if you're doing like that, what if someone was going to do like that one guy and he's making $2,500 a day for $500 an hour? And then you got also, like, but he's the only one doing it. He didn't have employees.
As far as I know, he's one man shop.
Well, all right. So what's the cost of the wood per hour?
Yeah, so it's about 3 to 4 logs to start heating the stove up or the furnace, and that translates to around an hour and a half the time, just pre-set up to get up to temp for your clients. And then you're popping in a piece of hardwood, which has a hotter burning rate, longer burning rate to maintain that temperature, ideally above 160. We try to keep ours around 180 or above for that entire hour. So around 1 to 2 logs an hour, which is a low overhead for a business.
Awesome. Well, now, all right. So that's a good. Hey. I mean, if someone's, because there's so much coastline, like, why aren't these like all beaches with cold water?
That's
and all lakes.
Exactly, and I think after working with Boulder County, there's a big question mark on this business model because there's food trucks on wheels, but now we're seeing saunas on wheels, and there's also a burning fire in public protected lands. So we've been in talks with the city on how we can make this more available to the public, and our inspiration with By the Water, he's proven it very viable.
Yeah, it's exciting. Have you ever seen these like floating hot tubs like on boats?
I have. Those are
What
insane.
about that?
I want to throw a party on one of those.
You could, like, just imagine Rocky Mountain National Park or wherever, like anywhere west of us. There, if you could get your hot tub into like a crevice that no one could even swim to because it's too cold, and then you have hot cold therapy, like off the boat, and like under a 14,000-foot mountain peak glacier lake. I'm like, what?
That's a dream, and I think the implementation of bringing people back to nature rather than being under a roof or in a building, the sauna really allows us to step into those tribal ties.
Yeah. All right. Now, that was good. We can always go back to the business idea, but you mentioned something to me I'm also very curious about. And I don't know who's the most opinionated about this kind of stuff on the team. But what about the logistics, like how hot the sauna should be? What kind of wood, like who made the decision about like what kind of wood y'all are burning, what kind of music you're playing? So like literally the vibe and the tribe design of the experience. Who's making those decisions, and how do y'all? What is y'all's opinions on that? And we can start with the ideal temperature.
Yeah, ideal temperature, we keep around 180 to 200 range. Anything above 200, we've gotten feedback is a bit uncomfortable for people. They can't maintain the social setting that we want to create within the connection of the sauna.
All
And to
right, good point. I
experience
just want to say
health
something.
benefits is above 160.
Above 160 is the health benefits, but for me, I definitely like it over 200.
Mm.
For because I like to do it faster, and I don't like whatever. I'll socialize however I can, even though if I'm like almost in a dream state. So that also really are people booking out like a full hours for their groups yet?
Correct. So we've had several private bookings, 1 to 2 hours, where they can go at their leisure and they can give us the temp that they prefer.
And then what's the cost like if as a random visitor per visit versus like making a whole hour booking? What do y'all have around that right now?
So for a private booking for the day, for say a corporate team, we do $500 for the full day. We supply the wood. That's without labor on our part. And if someone is booking at one of our more stationary locations, like Foot of the Mountain Hotel here in Boulder, that is 250 for the 2 hour period.
Okay, cool. That's great to know. And then what's the max people can fit in that if you're going to do a private booking like that?
Yeah, so we have 3 barrel saunas on trailers right now. So the one up in Lyons can fit 6 people. The one we just brought down to Boulder from Netherlands fits 12 to 14 people.
Okay.
And the one we constructed ourselves fits 6 to 8 people, which you've been.
I'd like to think about making a booking for like 14 in the big sauna with like 215 degrees.
Absolutely.
Sounds like it could be like a bit of a breaking normal experience. All right, all right. Now, what about for you? Like, and tell me, when you say Danish Icelandic background, where are your parents from there, or like, and why is this important to you? Forget the business, but just the benefits of sauna. And I'm not sure if you include cold plunging in that, but I'd like to know too if it's included.
Yeah, my father is from Denmark. His father was originally a first generation American. And I feel that I have, those ties through my ancestors that is very present in my daily life. Naturally resonated with that. And so now that I've found my path, as I'm 28 now and I've become more mature, I've found entrepreneurship as a vehicle to align my career with my purpose and mission. And I felt a deep purpose in my life to help others with their health.
And you think sauna's really good? So,
Yeah, there's been numerous studies showing that heart attacks and blood pressure is reduced around 50% by being in the sauna 15 to 20 minutes.
all right. And what about you personally? What is getting in the sauna do for you?
Getting in the sauna for me is relaxation of my nervous system. Being an entrepreneur like yourself, I believe that we live very busy lives, being a father as well. And some of these daily stressors that we all experience is hindered by that time we spend in the sauna. So for me in my life, the hot and cold contrast therapy has reduced some of that inner anxiety and stress that I might feel from my daily whereabouts.
And what's your like? Do you have a weekly protocol, or like do you do 20 minutes, 3 sets of 20, 2 sets of 15?
Yeah, great question. My preferred sauna ritual is to do 10 to 15 minutes in the sauna, 1 to 3 minutes cold plunging, and repeating that 2 to 3 cycles.
And then in the ideal amount of times a week.
I like around 3 to 4 times per week. Some weeks allow more time for that, but I really feel that if I do it over that 3 to 4, times per week, it ends up putting more stress on my body from being in those uncomfortable temperatures.
I'm pretty similar to you, like that 3 or 4 times a week. Depending on the temperature of the sauna. If it's 200 plus degrees, 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, and 1 to 3 minutes in the cold, and cycle that 3 or 4 times. Man, I feel pretty good afterwards. Like feel pretty like I'm on something.
Hmm. They say doing the hot cold contrast therapy is 300% more dopamine than doing a line of cocaine.
Have you ever done a line of cocaine?
I used to be addicted
Really?
to cocaine while I was in college,
Wow.
and to speak to that, it is also a deep passion of mine to promote sobriety and healthy modalities that increase these natural highs.
Wow, I did not know that about you. And it's hard for me to imagine you doing a line of coke or being addicted to cocaine. I had not ever gotten involved in that. I've used plenty of coca leaf when I was in South America, particularly. Very fascinated by that herb. Have you ever used coca leaf?
Once retreat
Oh, okay. Where was that at?
that was in Eugene, Oregon.
Oh, wow. Where? Like, in Eugene?
In Eugene, Oregon.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I between. Have you ever gone along the river between Eugene and Bend?
I had not. That was only my only time traveling to
Oh,
Oregon. However, I deeply desire to go there.
There are some really special spots along. I think it's called the McKenzie River there. All right, cool. So you were using drugs in college, and you're sober now. I mean, or like you're just
Sober from alcohol for 1 year completely dry, 3 years I've had less than 10 drinks, and it's been a process for me, but I truly feel like it's helped in so many regards.
And does that mean that you're like you dabble or use psychedelics?
Yeah, I've done the long list of psychedelics.
But are you currently abstaining from those, or
I currently feel that most plant medicine is truly medicine, and we can enjoy these things in moderation, just like caffeine. And so I do my best to utilize that tool when I feel I need some deep introspection into my life rather than reaching for it out of recreation.
And then, have you been addicted to other substances, and how does it cocaine compare?
I believe I have an addictive personality. I love understanding a substance on a more internal level, and that goes for everything from caffeine to L-theanine in the nootropics, just like this elk antler.
Sometimes when I take that L-theanine, I feel like I'm on the train. Like I'm on it. Like there's something really good about the joints with that.
I believe it. There's so much natural medicine out there, and I think at the end of the day, it's all about moderation. And cocaine, in general, can be more detrimental to your health than a lot of things like marijuana, alcohol, caffeine, for example.
Yeah, but cocaine's a totally different animal because it's a lot of processing. Is my understanding. It's not just like pure cocoa leaf without any chemicals or processing involved. That
Yeah,
makes sense. I mean, I'm a big. I lean towards natural. Like it just blows my mind that people are in prison because they sold a flower.
yeah. We live in a day and age that so many laws and regulations are passing before our eyes in the last 10 to 15 years. And I believe a lot of people should be free from some of those.
Checking the time. Okay, I asked you a lot of questions really quickly. Okay, good. We're doing
Drill
good
me,
here.
I love it.
Is there anything you want to make sure that we talk about before I go back on another page?
I'd say one comment is Ember and Ice at the end of the day is going to be a community oriented business that is known for their nature's emergence and bringing us back to the elements in some of these practices of indigenous tribes. And that, for me and my team, is important to communicate with people coming to Ember and Ice, opposed to going to a gym and jumping in a cold plunge infrared sauna.
I have a lot of reference for that, and that's what it seems like y'all are already doing. And that's why I'm like so excited and supportive. And based on that mission statement, it's like, yeah, we should definitely find a way to partner with Tribe Vitamins, even if it's getting the people tallow balm after the sweat, because I love that after. That's one of my two favorite ways to use that. Three favorite ways to use that tallow is like under my eyes before I go to bed at night. It's just like I look almost like somehow I wake up. I'm like, did I get younger? And then when I don't put it on there, it almost looks like the opposite. And then after the sauna, for sure, like after the sauna cold plunge, and then just like when it's blazing boulder sun.
Yeah, something I've learned in the last week is our pores open up so much during that sauna experience. So by putting something like bison tallow from Tribe Vitamins on after the sauna, your skin's able to absorb some of those benefits.
Yeah. Once again, your skin's looking great. I think the sauna is great for skin.
Yeah, it's very hydrating. It clears some of those toxins. It's important to shower and clean yourself off while you secrete some of those toxins during a 15 to 20-minute sauna session.
Speaking of, am I really this orange? I don't know if I'm that orange. Doesn't that make me look more orange?
You look insane. You look like you've been in Encinitas for a little while.
My brother just got to Encinitas today.
Okay.
He last night he sent me a video from our little beach place where my daughter was born.
Dude,
Did you live in Encinitas?
I visited Encinitas. However, I have not lived there.
Okay, all right. Encinitas, you seem like you could have lived there.
You got on that California vibe for a lot of people.
Yeah, where were you born?
I was born outside of Boulder in Lyons, Colorado.
And there's not many. There's not many people that were born here that still live here compared to the opposite.
I feel blessed. Colorado has been a sanctuary for me and my family and fit my outdoor lifestyle. So, although I love traveling and exploring new countries, it's served me in many ways towards my passions.
And does your family live here then? Your parents and everything?
Correct. My parents still live in Lyons, and my sister lives in Denver. She's 4 years older than me.
Oh wow! And do your parents do work still? Like, are they working?
They are retired now.
Okay, what kind of work did they do?
My father was a dentist and had his own practice here in Boulder, and my mother was a nurse. So they were both healers and big influences on me bringing some of these health practices.
Yeah, and what kind of nurse? My mom's a nurse as well. What kind of nurses?
Orthopedic nurse.
Okay, cool. My mom worked mostly in like open heart surgery, and then like switched around departments a little bit. Did you get your wisdom teeth taken out?
I had enough space in my mouth. I've amazingly didn't need braces or my wisdom teeth taken out.
Your dad sounds like a good dentist.
I feel very lucky to, yeah, have my teeth treated as a kid and not have to go down some of those procedures.
I mean, I find that peculiar. I am very skeptical of certain healthcare industries, especially dental. Like, and I would like to get my teeth like whiter, for instance. I feel like when I was like a raw vegan, my teeth took a little bit of a hit. But I find it very, very peculiar that your dad's a dentist and that you have your wisdom teeth and you've never had braces.
Yeah, he never pushed it on me, which I'm super thankful for. And so if my teeth are straight enough and I'm happy and can chew fine, and I'm not in need of having, the English smile.
And then what about your sister? What does she do for work?
My sister is in marketing. She's also a fitness instructor, and she's extraordinary at what she does. And
Like a
she
public
had to
gym?
wear braces.
Or her own gym?
She teaches at two different studios, Transform, which is a climbing studio. They
Okay.
just opened one here in Boulder.
Oh wow.
And Cycle Bar, which in turn is cycling.
And have you all reached out to those gyms for a partnership?
We have not discussed popping up with them yet. but there is definitely a possibility.
It's a little different though, like in those urban spaces compared to what you were mentioning as sort of more the ethos of Ember and Ice.
Exactly, and that's why I feel there's such a outside pillar of the business too to pop up at more street locations and parking lots. Um, that's different than our bread and butter of being within nature.
All right, so for people that, because this might be public in about an hour or two, can you tell people where to go if they like see this weekend in Boulder, and or if they just want to check out the website or follow you? What's the places to go?
The best place to make a booking and learn more about our mission is embernice.com. That's ember, the letter N, ice.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at ember_n_ice. You can follow myself and my fitness journey at Trent Poulsen. That is TrentPoulsen. And the 5 members of our team that are bringing these visions to life are tagged on our profile too. And I really encourage anyone that is inspired to what Daniel and I talked about today to give them a follow and what they're contributing to the world.
Yeah, y'all have this is a great dream team. Like I want someone else to listen to this and be like, I'm gonna start this business along the Connecticut coast with my 5 best friends. And then I'll come visit because of Connecticut. I've been to all 50 states, and people a lot of times ask me like my favorite place, and that's challenging. But with like the worst place I've ever visited, I would give it to downtown Hartford, Connecticut. Have you ever been there?
I have not been here.
No,
It sounds like you had a
It's kinda
contrasting experience.
Well, I think most of the people that work there are in the industry of insurance. And then you're like, so I guess there's like calculating the worst case scenarios all the time in an office like this. Like, not like this, but like under lighting and inside in a cold, dark, dreary place. Not New York City, but somewhat close to it.
That's why you live in northern or western Boulder, which is I think one of the most beautiful places in the world.
I do. I agree. Yeah, I like thinking about it in some of the most beautiful places in the world, and I do think West Boulder is definitely. I would definitely give it like top 25 for everybody in the country, and then like depending on your interest, we can figure out where in 25 it is.
Where would you place another house if someone was to hand you a tile on a game board right now to place your house, second house, wherever you wanted?
Well, what was that phraseology? A tire and a what?
If you could place a tile on a game board,
Oh, a tile on a game board.
the
Okay.
world map, where would you place it?
Well, firstly, I live in an apartment that I'm renting, so that would be my first if it's a house. Well, it's a bit of a. I right at this point, I would probably say like as smack dab in the middle of my family in Georgia as possible for family reasons. Now, let's just say if my family was going to follow me wherever I chose. That's a good question. Like, I would probably say near Olinda or Makawao, Maui,
Back in Hawaii.
like upcountry Maui, basically.
Love it. You've been to every island?
Not every island. I've been to Maui, Oahu, the Big Island, and Kauai. But mostly Kauai and Maui, the Big Island.
Why do you choose Maui?
Man, have you ever heard like the ideas about like, how they're like represent different chakras in the body?
Yes.
Like the Big Island being like the root chakra, and man, I'm like that the Big Island is the most raw primal place I've ever been. Like even like so we were sleeping like next to like I guess where like new beaches are being formed or were formed by lava, and I was just like it was like I don't know, kind of felt like dangerous and rugged. I love it. I love the Big Island. But I would not want to live there compared to the other ones. Kauai, I think, is the most beautiful, especially to like them. Like if I was going to try to blow the mind off my girlfriend or mom or sister or my daughter, I would take them to Kauai. But Kauai is like much wetter and a little more exclusive, and like like I think Mark Zuckerberg owns a lot of land there, and I don't know how many homes Oprah has there. It is an exclusive, and all of the islands kind of have that vibe a little bit. But even like the local surfers there it's not as busy. Like Oahu's so busy, and I find Oahu and Kauai to like Maui to be the hybrid of it. And if you're up in the country, the main reason is because it's arid, like ranching. It's like imagine the best Boulder weather ever. You can have it there almost like year round, and then drive down 10 minutes, and you're like at one of the best surfing beaches in the world. And it's much muggier and wetter there, like where all the houses are getting eaten by the jungle. But up there, it's not. And it's just like this easy breezy, like it almost seems like you're like on like your own ranch, like with a bunch of like 100 other people. Yeah, that's probably my choice though.
So I hear the solitude, the fertile soil to grow crops of your liking. You'd be there with your daughter and partner, and you could surf.
Yeah, and like there's cool towns nearby that we can get to pretty quickly, but like where I'm sleeping is fresh air, nice breezes. Maui's pretty windy in that area, so it's like a nice breezy island. And I can get down to the tropics, or I can get down to like the land of 10,000 waterfalls. Like, have you been to Maui by any chance?
I haven't been to
Oh
Maui yet.
yeah, like Hana, Maui. It's like that's the one of the wettest, coolest jungles ever, and it's just so amazing. And then you have like this spring water canyon. It's just like pure rainfall. That's like a 30 minutes away, and right next to the airport. It's like let's say Jurassic Park, and then you have like white sand beaches, you have black sand beaches, and then you have above you, if you drive to the top of the island, is a one of the most quiet places on Earth, and it's like an extinct volcanic crater called Haleakala. And I don't know if you like. There's a lot of people that sing about Haleakala. Since it's like
it's very spiritual.
Oh my gosh, it's a very special spot. Yeah, you could like literally go from that crater for like you could like end the day there at sunset. You could like start the day like doing breath work in like a rainfall canyon, and then go surfing with all these sea turtles like on a white sand beach, and you could like go jump off some waterfalls, and then you could like go to your little property where all your food is growing. It's just like the perfect atmosphere, and you could like drive up to the crater for sunset all in one day. That is possible now.
That's a beautiful experience. Hawaii is such a sacred place. Is really carried by the spirit of Pele in that volcano. Those islands exist, so Hawaiian people have an amazing culture, and I share that tropical aspiration to own lands in somewhere like Costa Rica or Hawaii. So I can surf, and I know you have a passion for surfing.
Yes, you surf some.
Yeah.
Where have you surfed the
Surfed.
most?
Costa Rica and Hawaii are in Mexico are the three main surfing
Oh wow,
destinations.
where did you surf in Hawaii?
Hawaii, I first took a lesson on family vacation with my parents in Kauai. And then I
Do you remember
branched
that
out
beach?
to
Honolulu Bay, maybe? Or is it South Shore or North Shore?
Honolulu Bay. Sounds familiar.
Okay, all right.
And then Honolulu, Waikiki, as well as Pine Trees over in Kona.
Oh wow.
And then Costa Rica and Mexico have also.
If you want to, for my own selfish reasons, I don't know how many other people are going to be interested. I am curious. Do you remember the spots you surfed in Costa Rica and or Mexico?
Yeah, the spot in Mexico is just south of Punta Negra or Punta Banco, which is called La Lancha. You have to hike down half a mile, and it's longboarding.
Wow.
Left wave break.
Is that on the west coast of Mexico?
It is, yes.
Okay.
West coast. You got it. North of Puerto Vallarta.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Awesome. I have not been there. That sounds awesome.
And then probably my favorite surf destination I've ever been is Pavones, Costa Rica.
We've been there.
Amazing. Yeah.
That place. I will never forget the day. We woke up one morning and it was really early. Dawn patrol, like before the sun rose. We paddle out, and then all of a sudden I see my brother paddling into like a 10-foot like train. Like it's just like this left train, and it was scary. Like the day that day. How was your experience there? I love that spot.
The ocean is super humbling. And I get humbled every time I paddle out. So we took a more northern route to go on the second longest left-hand longboarding wave there is in the world, which you can ride for a minute and a half.
Mm-hmm. Did you get a good one? One of those?
I was beginning surfing at that time,
Okay.
so I caught a couple waves. However, the immaculate beaches there and water is something to really enjoy.
Well, that's a special thing. And I know you're wearing a shirt right now, and you mentioned your fitness journey. I think if people, if they follow your Instagram, they might actually be able to see more of your physique and how fit you are. We got about 15 more minutes here. What do you mean by your fitness journey? You alluded to that because you look like a gladiator to me currently.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I think as it correlates with this business, I am becoming the best version of myself. I've always deeply been passionate about personal development, and I started off in four sports in high school: football, basketball, cross country, and track and field. And then when I went to college here in Northern Colorado, I got into more weightlifting and building my own physique. And I loved the confidence and empowering feeling of being in the weight room. And as I've matured more, I've realized that it's really the mental stimulation that I get of being in the gym, getting that one last rep, or having the discipline to get up in the morning or go to the gym in the afternoon when you're tired, is where I see the most benefits from having that daily practice.
Well, you mentioned you started with like getting your physique right, and then maybe it has led to more like a holistic approach to it. But since you have a great physique, what do you have any ways if someone else is like, man, I want to get as fit as Trent, I want to look like that. What do you have any top places to look or go to?
I'd say, find what activity brings you the most fulfillment through movement and truly follow those breadcrumbs. Whatever that activity is, and you can implement that into your routine, whether that be the weight room, snowboarding, mountain biking, will be where you find success with health. I think we're all made differently. We like different things. And I try to share my perspective and some of my passions and hobbies within my own social media platform to inspire others to explore some of those things in their life.
Cool. And then do you have like a current, like it just asked you about your sauna routine. Do you have a current like fitness ritual, like 3 or 4 days a week, 30 minutes long? Are you doing mostly pull-ups or push-ups? Do you have any kind of rituals around that?
I've been getting more into hybrid training. I think that term has evolved, at least in the world in the United States, in the last few years by this man, Nick Barr, that owns BPN Supplements. And he's inspired me to do more heavy lifting with more endurance activities. And those two things are very stressful to your body. However, I feel that the health benefits of boosted testosterone, especially for males, through heavy lifting and the cardiovascular endurance activities like swimming, running, skate skiing can greatly enhance your everyday life.
Cool. And then boosted testosterone, do you have like get yours checked or what do you mean?
I've yet to get my testosterone measured. However, I mostly go off of feeling there, and I know your supplements and livers really boost your testosterone, right?
I think they help for sure, especially the testicles. The testicles and the elk velvet, especially. The testicles, especially. Yeah, I like that. I think we're the only brand. I mean, I only have 2 bottles left right now. Like we constantly kind of sell out of that, and then we restock when we can. But yeah, eating the pure testicles, I think there's something there.
Yeah, I think you're on the side.
And then what about your food? Are you because once again you're pretty ripped. You seem to keep a low body fat. What do you eat? Any rituals around eating?
Our body is a temple, and whatever we eat is how we feel. So I typically do an 8-hour eating period, 16-hour fast
Every day?
most days, depending on my schedule. And I think the two faults people experience in their diet are just lack of convenience of food and preparation. If you can prepare your food and you're not eating out of desperation, grabbing for that Snickers bar or eating out and having some of those protein packed meals in your car or on you, you're able to maintain a healthier diet. And I've seen that directly translated into how I feel and how my body appears.
Hmm. What's your 8 hour routine window from when to when?
Typically, it is noon to 8 p.m.
And then did you like bring food with you today?
I have snacks and protein in my car
The protein,
because
like a powder, you mean, or what?
I do take pea protein. However, big thing I've been on lately is pistachios.
Pistachios, just like a bag of pistachios.
Bag of
What brand
pistachios.
are you getting them with the shell on them? How are you doing this pistachio
I think
thing?
it's simple pistachios, and I'm not a big fan of peeling pistachios, so being able to have a handful of pistachios keeps me fueled, and that's one of the things I've implemented in my routine, and keeps my satiation high during times of the day.
All right, to throw you off a little bit and go back to the very first question, do you get paid for house sitting?
I do get paid for house sitting, and I've had to really adapt my outlook and perspective on how I make income as an entrepreneur. We currently are not paying each other out with Ember and Ice.
Okay,
It's a
makes
new
sense. Yeah.
business. We're putting the money back into a business. So I'd say the biggest challenge with this journey for most of us right now is creating that stability with income. And I've found that house sitting is one way I'm able to take care of an animal in someone else's house, but still fulfill that mission.
Well, what's the range of getting paid to house sit?
Range is anywhere from a day to multiple weeks, and I negotiate prices with hosts and clients where I feel it is equal to the time I'm putting into caring for their animal.
So are we talking like $40 a day, $100 a day?
Yeah, it depends on the client and how demanding that house or animal might be, but anywhere from 70 to $120.
Nice, nice. And are you staying in these houses?
Correct.
Oh wow, wow. I've been looking into trusted house sitters because if I wanted to take some trips, like I've seen like these Hawaiian or Costa Rican or like Italian like homes, and some of them are like popping up for long term. I'm like, I like saw this like Italian villa that popped up for like over a year. I'm like, dang, that looks like a nice place to live.
Yeah, I think that's a way of breaking through the matrix of, so many people are paying for stays to go to destinations when in reality, people are traveling out of their homes already, and you're just fulfilling one of these needs and cutting those expenses for your trip.
Yeah, well, that was how Rob Ross, when we started my retreat business, our retreat visit with my brothers was like, man, like we would pay to travel. Like that's what I want to have money for is to travel.
Hmm.
How do we get paid to travel? And it seems like in the sauna thing I see is like I would pay to go to a sauna, and it's like how do you get paid to go to go to a sauna? So thanks for answering that question and all the other questions I just asked you. It's almost 2:30.
Yeah, thank you for joining me with those questions, and yeah, I really enjoyed sharing some of those things from my heart and the business for our team, and yeah, look forward to just sharing it more with the community, your listeners, and collaborating with you and Tribe Vitamins here in the future.
Yeah, I'm really excited for y'all, and I really respect the way you mentioned about y'all not getting paid from the business and how like that might. I mean, it's like it's just the collective challenge that y'all are embarking upon together, and the individual challenges that'll come along with that. And not meaning the challenges are bad. Meaning these challenges are probably going to be just so refining and beautiful for the individuals and the collective and all the lives y'all are touching. I think it's awesome. I'm stoked to go get in that sauna this weekend.
Yeah, thank you for that reflection. And I truly believe, God never puts something in your path that He knows that you can't handle. So I believe we're all being guided into these lessons and getting this wisdom bestowed on us through the process to help others.
Wow. Yeah. You mentioned God. You mentioned Pele. You mentioned spirituality. What do you have do you have a unifying belief around that topic of God for yourself?
I have developed a deeper relationship with God and Jesus Christ over the last year and a half, and have had seeds planted throughout my life, and have finally opened myself up to sharing that faith more with others. And that's given me security, trust in the process of my own development.
And do you feel like that's like in conflict with the ideas around like Pele, for instance?
I don't. I think there's hundreds of gods that have been worshipped throughout time. And at the end of the day, your belief in the world is one of the most important things you hold. So, whatever you believe in, have 100% faith and belief in that path.
Cheers. I mean, 100% faith, though. Is that possible? That almost sounds like certainty.
The certainty.
It's like a mustard seed. Don't you like just a mustard seed?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. I know this is very much a side note, but he has so many studies just showing how in our own internal bodies having that faith and belief can change our biology and manifest things in reality in real time, that if we have hindering beliefs or lack the self-confidence of those things coming into fruition, can really interfere with that in our multidimensional world.
You know where I think those, like, the rigidity of those beliefs might get softer, the ones we are supposed to break through, is when you're like sweating to your soul's core in the sauna.
Yeah, then you will find God in the sun.
I definitely think it's a synchronicity machine.
Mm.
I used to have some rituals around different saunas or steam showers where I would really, that's when I was listening for what was going to happen. And I've had some crazy things happen following those sessions for sure. So yeah. Any question for me before we wrap this up and get you setting up the sauna right down the street from where I live?
Yeah, looking forward to hosting you more, Daniel. And I guess the last question I'll ask you is, I'm curious how your path with the podcast has changed from what you thought you'd get out of this at the start of it until this point in time now, and how you get fulfillment out of it.
Okay, all right, that's a great question, man. I think in the beginning I thought it was more of like a way to generate more of a buzz and publicity around the book Breaking Normal, and like get a bunch of followers and listeners and subscribers and all that. So maybe more for like reasons that like about me making myself want to feel important. And what it just quickly evolved to, probably like from the very first interview, was just like, oh, this is actually about me sharing my gift of presence and listening to someone that I think deserves to feel important. Yeah. And it's like, I don't care. Like, I care, I care if maybe I would have different feelings if 10 people listen to this versus 10 million. Obviously, I have different feelings, but that's not why I'm doing this. I'm basically doing it for like you, myself, and whoever tunes into it, and the memes and the ideas that I trust and I pray that upgrade the world, because I'm committing to continuously doing this process. And I don't know if you mentioned like, yeah, maybe I thought I would like to make more like money from the podcast maybe in the beginning, but I'm like, man, I've made so much more than money, directly and indirectly, from the people that I get to have these experiences with. Like, for instance, one of our biggest buyers, it was a doctor I interviewed. He became the biggest buyer for Tribe Vitamins. And there's just like, I had an interview with my daughter when she was like 2.5 years old or something, and like, I am so happy that I have her voice saved when she spoke like that. It was probably my favorite interviews, like with my daughter at that time. So yeah. Thanks for asking that question.
Thank you for sharing that. I can tell that really comes from your heart, and it's beautiful seeing that journey you've been on and how now it's evolved.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Thank you, Trent. Give this guy a follow. Follow that whole crew. Ember and Ice. I'm excited. Keep breaking normal. Thank y'all.